Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Now, the last few videos we talked about updating my editing PC and upgrading it to maybe Threadripper Pro or 12th Gen. And through some of the testing, we found that, and also through contacting MSI, that boards like the Z690 Unify do not have power delivery for integrated GPUs. Now, I promised you guys that I would do this, that I would see if there were any boards that were actually similar and what to look out for if this is something that you want to go down and kind of explore for yourself. After the video, as mentioned, that I did with that 12th Gen system and the QuickSync not working and finding out why, because some boards don't have power delivery. This is the stuff that we use that is current generation for most of our videos. So this kind of gives me a good sample of what will and won't work here. So the news is really quite good actually, because most of the boards that I went through have display outputs, which means QuickSync is going to work. However, as I said, the news is good, but it's not all good yet because we don't know. I did find one board that doesn't technically have a display output. Z690 or Extreme. Now, this is just a ridiculously expensive board as it is. People will argue that because it's got Thunderbolt that it probably does have display output. What we're gonna do today is find out if the only board that we have here, which is this one that doesn't have a physical display output, will actually still allow us to enable QuickSync. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I basically don't know anything just yet. You're coming with me as we figure this out together, because as I said, this is something that is quite interesting to me, because some of these high-end boards are boards that people who are content creators or who are streamers will use and will want that integrated GPU support on the CPU. We're gonna keep it simple, so I'll show you what we've got prepared here for the parts, right? The motherboard, obviously, ridiculous board, right? Z690 Extreme from Aorus. CPU, we're going 12400. It's got an integrated GPU, so it will still tell us if it will work or not, because the option will physically be there in the BIOS, if it has it. And just 32 gigs of Fury Beast DDR5. This is not super duper exciting, but you know, for the purposes of us having a chat while we do this, this is a video that I wanted to make because after that one finding, I was more interested in the whole integrated GPU saga with every manufacturer. And as I said, I went through ASRock boards, other MSI boards, Aorus, Asus, and all the boards that we have here. They all have physical display outputs, which means that whether we like it or not, integrated GPU has power delivery on the board to physically power that stuff up. Now, this might result in MSI rethinking the way that they make their motherboards going forward, because if I'm gonna be honest with you, my experience with MSI and them, you know, adding motherboard features from just stuff that I've commented about has a 100% success rate. We saw this with MSI adding support for headless, which means you don't need a GPU at all to run their boards, and that is now a feature on every board that they've made. They even went back and retroactively did motherboard BIOS updates for all of their older boards to add this support. And this is mainly for Ryzen stuff. What we're seeing now with Intel boards is people are reliant on these integrated GPUs for the purposes of content creation and wanting to use the hardware they bought. Let's go chuck this thing on the test bench and we'll find out what the deal is, because I think it's gonna work because of Thunderbolt. But I'll just show you the rear I/O on this thing. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it physically doesn't have any display inputs or outputs or puts. Yeah, let's figure it out. So hopefully we can kind of get an answer to all of this. I don't even think I've used this board, so I'm gonna use it on the firmware that comes out of the box. We're not gonna boot into an OS or anything. I just want to know. I just want to know if the option is there. Didn't think would be the case. I thought that they would just add that for every board. Doesn't that make sense, Claire? Wouldn't that make sense to you for them just to have the feature there? This is going to give us the final answer to this thing that's been plaguing my mind since last Monday. Monday? Yeah, last Monday is when we started down this journey. I mean, as I always say, YouTube's a bit of a time machine. So, you know, I don't know when you're gonna watch this. So last Monday is probably a bit of a stretch, but I'm like, yeah, it's like, oh man, we bought these standing desks for a reason when we didn't buy them. Shout out to Omnidesk. OG homies. Let's see, we're gonna post. It'll post. All right, we're in the BIOS. Let's figure out what the deal is. Had to change the GPU because this monitor is just cooked, and yeah, I need to talk to MSI about it. Anyway, so usually we go to settings, IO ports, internal graphics, enabled. So this board will support QuickSync. There's also, you can set the graphics memory for the integrated GPU as well, the aperture size for integrated GPU as well. And this just works straight out of the box. And I gotta say as well, this board is probably running the original BIOS version that it shipped with. So there you go. The answer is very ambiguous because we don't know if all boards will support it, even if it doesn't have it. But it looks as though Gigabyte still has the power delivery for it, even though there's no video outputs, even though we know this board has dual Thunderbolt, so it probably will do that over Thunderbolt. To be honest, when I started out with doing this video, I thought it was gonna go a completely different way, and I thought there was gonna be heaps of boards that didn't actually support it, that didn't have display outputs, but there probably are more. But like I said, if I don't physically have them and I don't have access to them, then it's very hard to find that out. So I want you guys to sound off in the comments down below and let me know if your board, this is just for Intel people, mind you. So if you're using AMD, this video doesn't really apply to you, but if you've got an Intel board and you've got integrated graphics and your board doesn't have a display output, now this is for any generation, not just the current gen stuff. I just want to know if this is something that you've encountered as well, because after speaking to MSI, they said that this isn't something that a lot of people have come to them with. In fact, they don't think they've ever heard anyone coming to them with this. And because of me and my weird edge cases, I've just got to know from you guys, because to be honest, if something doesn't work, it's unlikely that a company is going to see that. But I've got you guys to help me out with this, because I just want to know if there's more of this happening with motherboards that support integrated GPUs and there not being a display output and you're not being able to enable it. Because like what we saw with the Z690 Aorus Extreme, technically doesn't have display outputs, it does have Thunderbolt, so that's probably why it does support it. But the fact that even though it didn't have DisplayPort or HDMI, it still supported it was really, really good to see. So it does have the power delivery. And here's something else I want you guys to kind of let me know what you're thinking as well. Do you think it's something to do with MSI trying to save money or board manufacturers trying to save money and not including the power delivery? Because every IC on a board costs money, right? Every bit of componentry costs extra money. Do you think they're just trying to save it because of that? Do you think because the Z690 Unify is more for extreme overclocking, or they're going for something in particular? Let me know what you think down below, because I'm really keen to hear your thoughts on all of this, because for me, I just wanted to know, and the reality is, like I said, it just didn't go the way I was expecting. I thought there was going to be way more boards that we had that didn't support it, but from what I found, if it's got the display output, you're good to go. So yeah, I think that's just about going to do it. And if you like the music you heard here, I make all the music. You can get it by clicking that join button. I've got to say this as well. We've got a big channel announcement coming soon. We're going to be getting rid of our Patreon for music people. We want you guys to come over to YouTube. It's actually a lot easier for us to distribute music here on YouTube now with the way that the membership system is, and it's a bit nicer for you guys to listen to it as well. So we're going to be doing that, but we'll have a full announcement of all the things we're changing on the channel. All really cool stuff, mind you. It's going to be excellent. And if you liked this video, smash the like button. If you hated it, I don't care. And ring the notification bell, all that jazz. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers, and Bindi with Gear Seekers. Well, one sec of Bindi's butt for Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And if you have ideas for stuff that you're interested in with stuff like this, let us know. Because if it interests me enough, I might just go and make something about it, exploring it for you guys. Because as you probably know, having a YouTube channel with the type of stuff that we do, we have access to things that a lot of other people wouldn't have access to. So it puts us in a very unique position to help you guys find out stuff. So I'm keen to hear your thoughts on everything that we kind of discussed. It's a very odd and short video today, but hopefully you learned something. Thanks for watching. And here's some bonus footage of Bindi playing with the iPad, because she loves this game. Where did it go, Bindi? Oh, you got it. You got it.